Oh, I was just about to leave and Amy's car wouldn't start, but it's so damp. I don't know what it was. I think it was the key fob. Just fiddled with it and it started. I don't know. A big day today. Obviously, Addie's such a trooper. You know, I had to wake her up. She's been really good about sleeping in a little bit, especially during March break. So the kids haven't really even been getting out of bed till like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I had to wake her up. The other two children are old enough now. They can stay home, but Addie can't. And Ava, although she's turned into a very mature young girl, she's not quite old enough to babysit Addie. Anyway, I wouldn't be comfortable with it. So Addie had to come to the barn with us. We had to get up early. I told everybody it was an early start today because we had qualifiers and schoolers. We had baby sets to train. They'd pushed the qualifiers back a day because of yesterday's weather. So we had a lot of sophomores to train. Just a lot going on today. I wanted to get Brace for Landing and try to get Crantini trained before the babies. Now I got Brace trained, Crantini trained right after. Jimmy was here and galloped. He said, how the hell, he made a break on James the other day and he's rooting his head with no head check on. And I said, I don't want to torture the horse, all right? So here's what we're going to do. Rather than trying to do, we're just putting a little land work into the horse. Really, some track work just so his just to help his knees, right? Because they do need some concussion to firm themselves up. So I trained him with no hobbles 2 weeks ago. I thought he trained good. I only went a mile in like 39 or 40. James said he was good the other day, but he was rooting his head bad. He wears a Crit Davis, but I don't want to put a big head check on him just to go a slow mile. So James said he tried to run in every turn the other day. I said, yeah, that's him just being him. Just gallop him. Just gallop the horse. So that's what Jimmy did. He galloped him, and if you've never, for those of you that are horsemen out there, I say that a lot, but for those of you that are horsemen out there that have never galloped a horse, it's kind of an odd feeling, letting a horse canter at speed. I told Jimmy just go mile 2:10 on the gallop, and that might sound like a lot, but it's not. It's their natural gait. And, I had an apple in here to eat, and I get in, it was just like that. And I turned it over, and Addie had chewed at it like a squirrel. It's a bit of an odd feeling, that galloping. So Jimmy galloped the horse, said he galloped good. Now it's odd because I had to think about it. I said, geez, some places don't want you, the meadows, you're not allowed to gallop horses. You're not allowed to gallop them. Northfield, the vast majority of the trainers in the morning for the race horses, they gallop their horses and hard. Corey Kreiser, Bill Rhodes, those guys gallop their horses hard. And we've had horses in the past that will gallop also for various reasons. And this would be one of them. So how the hell ran today, and he galloped good. I hadn't talked to Jimmy after. I just talked to Shelby, and she said, yeah, Jimmy said it was weird, but he galloped good. So got some work into him, so that was good. And then the new horse from PEI, Barney and Mike McGuigan's horse, Harry had the filly. We brought her here, and the intention was to hopefully race her in the spring series. Harry ended up bringing two horses back from the field. Looks like Money was one of them. Ran out of stalls, so now Mike's horse, I'll have to give Mike a call. The filly, she is in, what's her name? Shadow something. She's in Mario's barn now because World for Two left, so we had a stall there. Trained her in 2:2 today, which was actually a hell of a mile over that track. I said, try and go a mile in 2:1. And then as I was leaving, I'm like, he goes in 2:1? That's a big mile here today because it was really windy. So I'll rewind. I don't want to jumble everything together. I'll rewind all the way to the start of the day. 7:20, I went on the track with Brace for Landing. Now, he trained a little hard on Tuesday, but we're back on Saturday. We'll go a soft mile with him, maybe in 25 or 30, just 1 mile on Tuesday coming up. But I'm thinking to myself, if he feels good, I'm going to stretch him out a bit. I'm going to tighten him up a bit. And if he feels like maybe Tuesday was lots for him, remember we talked about this with Austral Hanover 2 weeks ago. If I feel that maybe that strong 1.5 mile training trip on Tuesday was lots, and he feels maybe a little rickety today, then I'll back him up. Anyway, he felt amazing today. I went a half in 22. Went a next half in 109. I went a last half in 103 and 104 with him. And it was starting to get a little windy. The track here is deep. Always is deep. And that was one hell of a 1.5 miles for him. He's getting very, very close. Now, In comparison, the wind had come up and it was starting to howl pretty good. By the time I went with Crantini, he went 119, 110, 105, and didn't want any more. And it's heavy, it's hard, it's heavy lifting out there today with that wind and a heavier track. It was lots. And I was extremely happy with both of them. I thought both of them trained fantastic. And then James had trained his horse earlier, Hasty Bid. He trained good. Harry had trained. I watched Nothing But a Dreamer go. He looked amazing also. A number of horses looked good today at the training center. We'll talk about a lot of them on our videos this weekend. I'm not going to do them today because we have a bunch of horses racing today, but I am going to do them tomorrow. So we'll talk about all Harry's. Harry had a schooler in Resolute Bay. But again, all the way back to the start, Brace for Landing was great. And then we went with the sets. Now, where's the sets? The sets for this morning, for the most part, the horses were good. Ready for Landing, made a break down by the wire again, but we didn't get his shoes changed from the other day. It meant to. Blacksmith just had a lot of horses to do in the barn. Didn't get them changed. Now, I don't know, actually, I was going to say quickly, I was going right by, but Johnny's horse on the inside was training great, and that was Don't Talk About Bruno. He won a set easily on Tuesday, and looked very, very good again this morning. Easy in the turns, was in the middle, and I felt I was going by, but I may not have actually got to Johnny. And he just lost his gait a little bit and rolled off. And, you know, James's horse had made a break in there. It's so frustrating. I know it's frustrating for you guys to hear that, but it's so frustrating to be sitting behind the horses. And I mean, I had my whip turned around. I was just sitting on Ready for Landing. He understands his work, and I can't tell whether he's just not focusing enough or whether he's just a little pinchy or whether he's slipping. I just can't put my finger on it. Sometimes when you're training down babies that have made a number of breaks or made mistakes, it almost seems like you're putting your fingers in a dam, and it can be a little daunting, a little frustrating sometimes. You know, that's the name of the game with babies, is you have to have patience. You have to take a deep breath and step back. And for those of you out there, I'd said it to Tom the other day and said it to a number of people, step back, and if you really want to feel good about yourselves, go back and watch last year's videos. Go back and watch the sets from March for Crantini and Carter Michael Dio, Spitfire Overseas, horses that are quality animals. Austral Hanover, horses that are quality animals. Nothing But a Dreamer also. Go back and watch them and then look and see what I'm talking about. We forget, right? Because they had such a great year. We forget what they were like in March. And it's the same thing every year. Just trying to get them to a point. Ready for Landing didn't do it to be ignorant or rude. I didn't feel that he was hitting himself, and I don't think it's lameness. I think it's mechanics. And I think the shoeing change we have coming up will help. And will go a long way for him. Now, I guess the silver lining is I'm always worried about him making breaks in the turns. Had no issues with the turns today. It was in the straightaway down by the wire. I think he just, and I wasn't letting him, but he did just over-trot himself. So I'm not really worried about that. So where are we at? Don't Talk About Bruno was fantastic. Easy in the turns was good. Ready for Landing made a break at the wire. Watch Your Mouth was in behind them, closing up good. So was James Arthur. Blarney Castle and James and I both had made a break in the first set, but they were good. Second set, I put a heavy working into Hallie in the Clouds today, and she worked very, very hard today. I actually went a mile in 29. So we were a little bit all over the place. In the first set, I think we had gone around 33, 34, if I'm not mistaken. Second set, we went in 29. I ended up clearing to the front and cutting it out with Hallie. And there's a lot to work with there. Big, strong filly. She's feeling sorry for herself. I put a head pull on her for the first time. Probably her knees are a little tight and her stifles are a little loose in the turns, and she get a little rolly and a little tired. But she has to do her work. And unfortunately for Hallie, she's going to be stuck with me for the next couple of weeks. But I think after 3 weeks, you're going to see the difference in Hallie in the Clouds. She was good today. And I thought I was kind of throttling her back coming out of the turn, and here comes Winter Bells. Zing! Just came screaming by me, and Amy's just sitting on her going under the wire. Winter Bells won the set, beat me by half a length, but really, Amy kind of just let her coast. And she takes care of herself, Winter Bells, too. Cleared to the lead and kind of just coasted away. Didn't really step on it and bounce away from everybody, but just kind of coasted away. She was great. Time is on, he was good, too. Time is on my side. Little rough in the turns. Again, the hobbles were a little long on this guy. Jimmy went with him. He said, man, you can tell when he puts it all together, he's going to be some kind of nice horse. And I said, I agree 100%. Now we have to there has to be a follow-through with that. It's nice to talk about how good he could be, but I think come June and July, you're going to see what we're talking about. Really, really nice horse. Winter Bells won the set. I was second with Hallie in the Clouds. Who else in there? Flash Fly, still a little bumpy flasher. We had changed her shoes. We opted to change them back. I didn't like what I saw. We went to change them back, but in the meantime, she jumped on her foot the other day, and she was a little off right front. For those of you that are in attendance, Mary, Jerry, Ron can all tell you that she doesn't look very good warming up. Always rickety and making breaks, and, you know, James like, oh, there's got to be something wrong with this filly. I've had her fluoroscoped, and I just think, you know what she reminds me a little bit of? Now, when she put her in gear, she got a little more pop to her, but a little bit like 1-2 skip a few. And you might say, oh my God. I got a lot of respect for 1-2 skip a few. As a 2-year-old, she was a really, really nice filly. The only thing that inhibited her in any way was her overall talent, right? She did everything she could as a 2-year-old. Very nice filly. And at 3, went out and had her moments too, but she really was as good at 3 as she was at 2. This filly, Flash Fly, is bred a little better, a little bit bigger, stronger, and when you put her in gear, she can really march also. So, although they're similar with their rickety kind of look to them and their gait going slow, when you really put them in gear and when push comes to shove, she can dance. And I think I'll go with Flash Fly for a little bit. I know James tries to be nice and easy with her, and I told him, I said, they're here to work. This filly got a clean bill of health from the vet, and I don't think she's any worse gaited-wise or soundness-wise or looking-wise than she was the first day we broke her. Maybe in that period where we had the flip-flops off her and took the egg bars off her behind, yeah, okay, maybe she was a little bit worse, but I think that was her overall body of work, not just she looked worse here or there. Now, today she did look a little bit off right front, but she does have that wound, that cut on her foot, and it was hurting her today. So I helped Shelby. We put her away, and I think come Tuesday I'll go with Flash Fly and see if we can't get her back on the rails, because nice filly, and she got lots to offer, but kind of in a little bit of a funk, and you'll see that from time to time. So Winter Bells won, and again, we won a mile in 29, so Flash Fly won a mile in 33, 34. Insider trading was good also. Danny had nothing bad to say about her, and Johnny never said a word about George of the Jungle, so I suspect they were both very good also. So a good set there in set number 2. Now, set 3, we were going to go a bit slower because Punch the Clock was in there. Now, Punch the Clock has not gone a completely flat training mile in maybe the 6 or 7 or 8 trips we've gone on. Maybe one where James had her bottled up, I don't know, but she's very soft, right? And I have to keep telling her about it. And I told James too, I said, mentally, not even talk about physically, mentally, she's 6 or 7 weeks of work behind these horses, and also physically. So I don't care about the breaks. She's not doing it to be a pig. She's not doing it because she's ignorant. She's just doing it because she's learning. She's trying to do what other horses are doing now that have 6 or 7 more weeks of work into them. And everybody knows that, but it's, you want, and James, she looks stronger every week. So I didn't really care. I had Drebin today. The whole name of the game with Drebin was make him sit, behave. Snake cord, martingale back on him, a heavier set of hobbles. As I said, the name of the game was do your work, do it right, behave. And he did. He was very good. Now, James ends up on the front with Punch the Clock. And we're not going any. We're going a half in like 28. Like literally 128. So we're going a mile in like 45. And I didn't even care. We had Rito's Lady in there. Again, much like Punch the Clock, maybe not ready to go much more than that. Seasons of Love, again, I told you guys the other day, she was going to wear a snake cord and a martingale and an ear hood, and I want her to sit and behave. I already know you're fast enough. I don't care about that. There's more to this than speed. They have to learn to do it right. And that was the whole point today with her. J-Port Beach Boy just got gelded, so this mile McPaisley was in there. Lonely Lakewood was just coming back, so this mile in 45 was kind of important. James ends up on the front with Punch the Clock, and I'm sitting back in 6th with Drebin. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I don't want to go right by him because I might spook her and she might make a break. So I just let him coast up, right up to her wheel, right up to James's wheel where she could hear me coming. And you get to see her ears, right? She knew what was going on. And she's still on front. Made it all the way through the last turn. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I wheel up alongside of him. Down the lane, we're starting to trot. It's not like I'm coming right to him. Like, if I had tapped Drebin, he was gone. But Punch the Clock is holding her own. And out of my rear view mirror, here comes Lonely Lakewood. And he comes screaming right up alongside me, and Johnny realized what was happening and just kind of cinched him up halfway down the lane. None of us wanted to startle punch the clock. We just wanted to stay on her flank and let her fight. And man, she fought right through the wire. And I believe she won the set. I mean, obviously Johnny and I could have went by her, but she won. I believe she won the set, trotted through the turn after and into the backstretch with her ears up. James looks over and he was pretty happy. You know, he's pretty laid back about the horses, but I could tell he was really happy. I was happy with Drebin. Johnny loves Lonely Lakewood, and everybody should, because, quite frankly, from all I've seen this year, probably the best horse we have right now is Lonely Lakewood, and that's not taking away anything. I'm going to do a top 10 list, and it was so tough. You see all these chicken scratches here. I said, okay, if they didn't go good this week, they cannot make the list. Regardless of how I feel about them, they cannot make the list. Still had 23 horses on here. Had to scratch them down and actually punch the clock. I couldn't really put her on the top 10 list this week because this was the first time she was great. But I will talk about, I have about 6 horses I had to begrudgingly scratch out, and then I circled 3 or 4 I wanted to talk about that just didn't make the list. So again, another tough list for this week. So that was the third set. Very impressed with really everybody in there was good. You know, McPaisley, Amy said she's a little lazy and a little rolly. Yeah, but that's her, right? McPaisley's the type of horse where I could probably go with, right? I should go with. I just can't all the time. J-Port Beach Boy was good. Jimmy said he's just kind of lazy a little bit. Yeah, we just castrated him a little while ago. But everybody in that set was great. Rito's Lady was good. Punch the Clock was amazing. As I said, Seasons of Love was right beside me and Johnny finishing up. J-Port Beach Boy. Lonely Lakewood, as I said, just a really nice colt, McPaisley and Drebin. So the baby's training was great. I went out and trained Crantini, as I said, that mile and a half, last mile and 2:15 in the jog cart. You know, wind, deep track, it doesn't matter. It's a good gauge of where the horses are, where they need to be, and how long it'll take to get there. Now, his training mile was a little stronger than I would say Crantini's training mile was a little stronger overall than Brace for Landings on Tuesday, but quite the opposite today. Although there was no wind, obviously when Brace went, he felt very strong also. And if you can go over Joe Stutzman's track, it is a little deep, and that's fine. If you can go over that track at a mile and a half, last half in 103, 104 with a decent mile like 212 or 215, you're very, very close. I watched Carter Michael Dio and Spitfire train today. They look very good also. So a number of horses getting very, very close here at first line. Now, went to the schoolers and the qualifiers. Easily Horn Player's best mile ever. We just threw the hobbles on her and I scored her down. I tightened them up one hole, left the gating pole away from her rump a little bit. I thought it was annoying her a little bit. And took the bell boots off her. And to myself, as we're going to the gate, I'm thinking, I don't feel she's that good today. And, you know, she felt okay coming out of the gate. I didn't want to put her in a spot to think about making a break. So they walked us over the quarter. I'm at the quarter in like 33 seconds. 32 and a piece at the very most. Half, my own half, 103. Now, I want to move her as we're getting into the turn. She actually trots the turns better for a big trotter, which is odd. So I want to move her getting into the turn. We get to the turn, I move her. She's coming with a full head of steam. We met at the turn, and I had flashes of last year where she made that break on the front end coming out of the turn. It was windy that day too, and it was windy today. And I just left her alone, and she just coasted. She didn't let up, but she just coasted up. That horse got a lot of experience and has trotted in 56, the one that won the qualifier. And I was right beside that horse with Phil, and in behind me was a Walner 3-year-old making her first qualifier of the year who had made $70,000 last year. So decent horses around her. I went back and looked at the line, and I wasn't surprised. I was very happy. 28 and a piece on the end of it. So that would be the first ever time she trotted 28 seconds on the end of it, to my knowledge, ever. And a last half in 57 and 1 or 2. A big last half, and I was very impressed with the way Horn Player went. Now, not enough. We took her out of the Breeders' Crown, and I left her in the other 2 stake races because they are here in Ontario. So, you know, I doubt you're going to see Horn Player head to New Jersey for the New Jersey Sires. We're going to formulate a plan of what we're going to do with her, but watching her today, she's ready to go. You know, she'll trot 58 her first start, 57, 58. So I was pretty happy with the way Horn Player looked today. Very happy, and quite frankly, happy with the entire day. James qualified. We were in the second schooler with the Resolute Bay, and I had Landing Pad. Little bit of a mismatch there. I went with Landing Pad. You still hear him forging quite a bit, picking on himself, and he cut his right hind pastern down low, just interfering, just touching it. So we're going to try and get him away out of there, shoe him, change his shoes a little bit behind, maybe tip him out a bit, just try and get him away from touching that. So that's that right front coming back and hitting that right front hitting that right hind down low. We're going to try and get him away from that this week. He only needs literally half an inch or less, and all would be much better. But still, 1 mile and 2.2, and now the wind is just howling. If you watch the latter part of the qualifying card, it got worse almost by the minute, and by the time Landing Pad went, it was howling. 31 on a piece on the end of it, which really wasn't that bad, and Resolute Bay just went by me and drove off. So he's now ready to qualify also. So next week, again, more qualifiers coming at you next week with Landing Pad, Resolute Bay. Probably Mike and Barney's horse will likely qualify next week, I guess. A lot of people asking about did Rory Yuri school? No, trained him 2 trips, trained Renegade Gypsy 2 trips, trained everybody 2 trips, I believe, in Mario's barn. Will qualify Yuri, or school Yuri, next week, but he trained very, very good again today. So just a great day. Again, another great day here at the office. Now, that can change quick. We got 5 racing tonight, so that could change quick. But for right now, at 1:27 in the afternoon, all is well at thestable.ca. So I will talk to you all again very soon, maybe tonight. I have More Than You Know in with Gandalf tonight. James has Haunted House and JK Victory. And as I said, I'll be watching that horse very, very closely. I got a sneaky suspicion James is going to race him pretty easy tonight. I think we're just going to have to come to the realization that he's going to get there. He's going to be the horse we want him to be, but it may not be tonight. So we'll see. Anyway, with that, I'll let you go. I'm going to go in the house here. I have a quick little bite to eat. I know that Addie has a birthday party with one of her friends. First ever birthday party, somebody else's birthday party attending for Addie Bear today. So she's got that at 3 o'clock. And we got a race tonight. So take care. Have a great weekend. I'll do your videos tomorrow. But for now, it's a very good Saturday. Take care.